Hello, dear people. Hello, curious minds. I continue the series about flying ships in antiquity. In 1803, a strange vessel washed ashore on the coast of Japan. Historians still cannot understand what it was. This story continues to intrigue people to this day, even though a great deal of time has passed since it first appeared. The legend tells of a strange vessel and a beautiful woman speaking a language no one could understand, who came ashore near a Japanese fishing village. The mention of Utsuro-bune, hollow ship, appears in several collections of stories and accounts published in the first half of the 19th century. Indisputable evidence of aliens appearing in Japan. How historians explain the appearance of the strange vessel. Did outsiders really visit Japan? According to Japanese researchers, the Utsuro-bune is described in at least chronicles of shipwrecked sailors, which compiled accounts of sailors who had visited unknown lands and places. T-Shukuzaki, Chronicles of T-Shuku, Harokata Zuihitsu, Essays of Harokata, as well as in literary works by a number of popular authors of that time. The story of the hollow ship likely gained popularity thanks to the publication Toan Shusetsu, Stories of Toan, which appeared in 1825. In truth, this was a collection of fantastic rumors, probably something akin to a modern tabloid, not claiming factual accuracy, but presenting stories vividly and engagingly, like classic sensational literature. Japanese sources from that time may recount the story differently, but they share common elements. They describe a strange object about 3 meters high and more than 5 meters wide. In illustrations, it resembles a spinning top, a cake, a slightly flattened sphere, or a cauldron with a lid. The vessel arrived in 1803 near the village of Harashigahama on the eastern coast of Japan. Its upper part appeared wooden and had a reddish hue. The material resembled rosewood or sandalwood. The lower part was covered with something like metal panels. There were also hatch-like entrances made of a transparent material, either glass or crystal. The object drew the attention of local residents, who gave it the name Utsuro-bune, or hollow ship, likely due to its apparently austere interior. Inside the vessel, writings could be seen on the walls in a language unknown to the locals. Of course, for villagers of the 19th century, any script different from their own characters would have seemed strange or incomprehensible. An extraordinarily beautiful young woman of small stature, about 1.5 meters tall, emerged to meet the fishermen. According to descriptions, she was around 20 years old, with pale skin and light complexion, and with red hair and eyebrows. Apparently, she was a redhead. Her clothing flowed, and it was unclear what material it was made from. In her hands she held a strange box about half a meter long. According to other accounts, about 25 cm made of a light, unknown material. The woman tried to communicate with the locals, but her language was incomprehensible to the villagers. Later they said that the stranger radiated kindness and seemed well disposed, yet she categorically refused to show what was inside the box and did not let it out of her hands. At least, this is what is described in the aforementioned collections. Depending on the source, different assumptions are presented. The woman might have been a fugitive from a distant land or hiding from an enraged husband, and the box, so dear to her, might even have contained the head of a lover. In any case, at some point the villagers grew tired of interacting with the strange maiden and placed her back into the vessel, which then departed. Centuries later, the story of the hollow ship gained new life, mostly outside Japan. This began with the growing popularity of accounts of events that allegedly took place in Roswell. Supporters of theories about regular extraterrestrial visits to Earth saw in the Utsuro-bune evidence for their views. After all, the structure depicted in the drawings resembles flying saucers. The description points to unknown materials, and the woman spoke an incomprehensible language. Mentions began to appear of classified CIA data and irrefutable evidence of alien appearances in Japan in ancient times, but without direct proof. Although in Japan the legend of the Utsuro-bune is not forgotten, it is remembered for different reasons. Researchers regularly publish their opinions on the matter, but aliens are not usually mentioned. Recently, in Ibaraki Prefecture, where the mysterious vessel is said to have arrived, an exhibition opened displaying a model of that very boat. This is not a promotion of extraterrestrial life, but rather a tribute to history and cultural heritage. How historians explain the appearance of the strange vessel? According to one scientific theory, the strange girl speaking an unknown language may have arrived on Japan's shores from a wrecked Russian whaling ship. This would explain her appearance, language, and the strange writings inside the vessel. The author of this theory, Tanaka Kazuo, notes, however, that he was unable to find official records of such incidents at the time, so it remains only a hypothesis. Another theory by Tanaka suggests that the story of the hollow ship is an attempt to modernize the legend of the Golden Princess, which tells of a noblewoman who arrived on Japan's shores from Tianjin, modern India, and transmitted the secret of silk production. This is supported, among other things, by the clothing depicted in early illustrations of the strange stranger, which resemble the garments of a bodhisattva statue in the Shofukuji temple. Moreover, Tanaka does not rule out that the entire story may have been invented as a form of promotion for the temple. The researcher points out certain inconsistencies in the descriptions of the event. For example, Some place names appear that are not mentioned anywhere else, but these do not significantly reduce its credibility and may be overlooked. Folklorist Yanagita Kunio, in turn, points to Japan's isolation at the time when the Utsuro-bune story is said to have occurred. If a ship had wrecked nearby and foreigners had appeared on shore, the local authorities would have conducted a thorough investigation and issued an official report, he says. On one hand, there is no such information. On the other, there are drawings of the arriving ship and a fairly detailed narrative. Therefore, Yanagita concludes some kind of event could indeed have taken place. Statistically, Japanese people observe phenomena that might be attributed to extraterrestrials far less frequently, as likely several times less than, for example, Americans, and are generally more skeptical about their existence. In the country, there is officially only one research organization that records contacts, led by the editor-in-chief of the Japanese magazine Mu, dedicated to the occult. Its database contains relatively few reports of little green men and lights in the sky, and the most interesting cases can be seen at an annual exhibition held at the UFO Interactive Hall in Fukushima Prefecture ahead of International UFO Day. Yes, such a day exists. More interestingly, Japanese folklore includes legends about extraterrestrial beings, and one of them closely resembles the Utsuro-bune story. This is the extremely popular tale, the tale of the bamboo cutter, believed to have originated in the 10th century and considered a precursor to science fiction. One of its main characters is a girl named Kaguya, found by an old bamboo cutter in a glowing stalk while he was working. Kaguya grew into a beautiful woman. Everyone wished to marry her, including the emperor himself. However, she refused, saying she did not belong to this world and wished to return home to the moon. In the end, a lunar delegation arrives on Earth, and despite the emperor's attempts to stop them, Kaguya returns to her people. It is quite possible that both Kaguyas, whose story inspired the 2013 animated film, The Tale of the Princess Kaguya, and the mysterious girl from the Utsuro-bune legend, are symbols of something from beyond, something unfamiliar, beautiful, and not belonging to the familiar world of Japan.